Check. Oh, we rolling?
Check, 1, 2,
Damn,
1, 2.
one. Damn, we fucking hit the ground running.
Oh, now I hear it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I brought you
killer. Dude, so Peter Gabriel it was random. I was working at a guitar shop in Atlanta, Clark Music. I never went to college, so it was like I was hitting the end of like going like, okay, I was like 25 and I was like, what, am I going to work minimum wage jobs? I was a doorman at a club before that. And then all of a sudden out of the blue, I gave my demo tape to a guy. Actually, I was in a 12-step meeting at that point, and I gave him my demo tape, just a friend, not any kind of ambition behind it. It was a cassette in the mid-90s, and then he gave it to a guy that worked for Capricorn Records, who then sent it to a guy in New York, and that guy knew Peter Gabriel, and he gave it to Peter. Then Peter called me up and changed my life. Then I met Joe Strummer, actually.
That's my dude, man.
Yeah, I know. I saw a picture of you as a kid with man. Joe Strummer.
Yeah, that's my motherfucking man right there. I'm cool. I can hear him. I'm good.
Yeah, so that picture of you backstage with Joe Strummer.
No, I still have the shirt he gave me that night on my wall at home. Like it was my birthday.
Which picture, for those who don't know?
Oh, it's in my book. Oh, here, fuck. You want to hand it to me? I think it's in there. Shit, I don't even remember. I don't fucking look at this thing. It's like once you write it, it's
it's for other people, man.
I think I think that shit's in here. Here, so, whatever, man.
Yeah, it's a picture of him and Joe Strummer when he's like, what, 12 years old?
Well, are you talking about the one with me and Joe Strummer and Andy Warhol?
Oh, damn, I don't know if I even
saw
that.
That one's in the book.
That one blew my mind.
But that was like, that was backstage at the Palladium when they played there the first time.
Right.
And, I became pretty good friends with them. I mean, they put me on the list every time they came back to New York. And
right.
And, they were really... Yeah, cool dudes, man.
I smoked my first spliff with Joe Strummer.
That's cool.
I never knew what a spliff was because I came from Ohio and it was just pure weed joints. Everybody smoked.
Hold up. I can match that story. First time I did crystal meth was with Lemmy and Filthy Animal Taylor.
Really?
And I was 15 at the Mud Club.
That's actually better.
Ding, ding, ding.
I was doing rails off the bar. I'm 15 fucking years old. I'm fucking doing rails of crystal off the bar with Filthy Animal Taylor. And then I fucking picked up this chick and took her out in a parking lot, found an unlocked car and whatever, and went back upstairs. And Phil's like, "So what happened?" And I was like, "Smell my fingers."
How long did you stay up that first time?
Oh fuck, I don't remember.
Days.
Man. You know what, man? I've had so many crystal encounters. Who the fuck knows? I can't remember.
That's a weird one.
Yeah.
I've had some encounters with too.
You stay up like a week. I think the longest I ever stayed awake was about 7 or 8 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You went way out.
Yeah, I was so fucked up back then. I was like shooting so much crystal that like this dude turned me on. We were smoking some ice, and I didn't even feel it. I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, this is supposed to be good. And
right.
I was so fucked up off the speed, I didn't even feel the ice. I was like, what is this garbage?
What is ice? I've heard about it, but I never did it.
It was like some
knockoff of speed.
Yeah, it was like the crack of crystal.
Right.
Like instead of Coke, to make crack or whatever.
Oh,
I never fucked with crack somehow. I missed that one.
You tried it though.
No,
probably.
I
never
actually
even
never
tried
fucked
it.
with crack.
That's
man.
funny.
I was a dope fiend, a dust head.
Right.
I was a fucking real basket case, and somehow I missed the boat on that one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an unbelievable dodge considering where you grew up and what you were up to.
And everybody around me was
just
fucking twisted.
Because the way that one happens is you're staying up for days, you're doing coke, and you're with your friends, and then nobody's got any more coke. But, but somebody has crack.
Exactly.
That's when the devil. That's when the devil introduces you. Let me introduce you to my other friend.
Yeah.
And that's when in 3 days and you don't want to come down.
Then all of a sudden you realize
that's when you'll take that bet. You'll be like the thing you said you would never do. Suddenly you're doing it.
Your mother's asshole. Before you know it, you're like, "Hey, mom.
Oh fuck.
Mom, you dropped something. $20."
That's wild. That's really wild.
Yeah.
So you got into it young. I took acid for the first time when I was 15.
Yeah, I think that was
pretty
actually
young.
no, I was younger than that. First time I ate acid, I was with fucking Adam Yauch and John Barry from the Beastie Boys. We went.
Wow.
I was like 12, and the chicks from Luscious Jackson were there, and we went and saw fucking Clockwork Orange, and that was the first time I saw that movie, and the first time I dosed. And that fucked me up, bro.
That's
like,
wild.
Like, to be honest, dude, like I had no idea how badly that warped my fucking sense of reality.
Right.
You know, because like, you know, I grew up in a very rough, violent gangs neighborhood, lots of drugs and shit. So after seeing that and just, you know, living the life that I had lived already, and then, you know, tripping my ass off, it was like I just started to equate violence with a good time, you know, and like extreme drug use and you know, all the debauchery, you know, it like I spent a good few years, like, you know, as Alex, you know, for lack of a fucking better word. That shit was like my Bible as a kid, you know. And
Alex is from Clockwork Orange.
He was the head dude. He was the main guy.
He's a compelling. Who plays Alex?
Fucking Michael.
Mike McDowell.
Yeah,
he's dope.
Oh, that fucking movie was insane, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit fucked me all up. You know, because, you know, acid, you know, for those of you who have not eaten the drug.
This guy right here.
Oh, really? You long-haired, hippie-looking fucking freak. This nigga never knows.
Never.
Look at you, man. You look like you fucking were born on acid, man.
He is a trippy
pot.
cat.
Oh, man.
Barely pot.
Barely pot.
Well, let me tell you, man, that shit can, like, you know, it opens up parts of your brain and shit can seep in that you don't even know is seeping in.
I'm afraid to lose control.
Well, I was all about losing control. Like I spent most of my life trying to lose control, you know, like, I mean, that's why I loved fucking, that's why I used to love PCP, man, because like PCP and heroin, man, I used to do the two. Yeah, man, it was like.
I never fuck with PCP.
Oh, man,
what is that?
Angel dust.
That's some dark, ugly shit. That's like the dark side of LSD. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
LSD is like the happy love. Yeah. Fucking PCP is like his dangerous cousin that fucking took you in an alley and robbed you and fucking beat your ass.
The dangerous cousin who was raised on the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah, PCP was the fucking the LSD of the hood.
That's crazy.
That was the shit that all the gangbangers in my neighborhood used to smoke when I was a kid. That's how I got turned on to it. I mean, fuck, I remember one of the first times I got high on anything was because the gang on my block forced me to huff glue with them or they were going to kick my ass. They like held a bag over my face and they were like, keep breathing until you can't breathe anymore. And I knew if I didn't, they were going to beat my ass. And
was that a thing?
Was
that
glue?
a thing? Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
What?
Crazy?
Yeah, dude.
Shit, man. I used to huff.
I raised my hand.
Goddamn, son.
We used to huff whiteout.
Man,
really?
Yeah, bags of whiteout. Yeah.
Carbona,
whiteout.
Yeah. Bro, we used to. I was huffing everything, man. I remember
huffing. How you just like
put it in a bag and you huff it
and breathing that shit until
you just huff it
over my head.
Yeah,
I get smelling
What's
it.
weird,
I never
though,
huffed it.
I just did some Wim Hof today, breathing stuff. Wim Hof breathing, you know, the pranayama breathing stuff, like when you just huff air. Actually, you get high. You don't even need the whiteout.
No,
it takes a little longer.
Bro, and you know what, man? My neighborhood was so fucked up back then. There was the one candy store I used to go get my glue at. That motherfucker. Yeah, this dude, he used to...
The candy store.
It was like, they sold
the hardware store.
It was the fucking candy store on the corner, right? They sold fucking 007s, those big-ass folding knives. Like, so you could get your glue, you could get your weapons, you're good for the night. You go out and get fucked up and rob people, you know?
Yeah.
It was terrible, man.
That's
and
wild.
This dude was like, you know, I remember one time he was like, can you run this store for me and get me a sandwich? I'll give you a couple tubes. Like, this motherfucker giving me I'm like, you know, a little kid, and he's giving me free tubes of glue to go get him a sandwich. I'm like,
he knows how to work. He knows who you are. He knows how to work.
Scumbag motherfucker, man. Yeah. You know, now I'm a grown up. I fucking kick his fucking ass, man. You know, what the fuck, man? Somebody give my son a motherfucking tube of glue for a sandwich, I'll bust his fucking ass.
I know, it's funny. When you think about people that hooked you up with drugs back in the day and you start thinking like once you get sober, you're like, wait, were you trying to kill me, motherfucker?
Like, thanks a lot, you fuck. You know? And I fucking I think other scumbags I knew that I like, you know, like fucking you get one time I owed
It wasn't for arts and crafts, maybe?
Shit. You crazy.
He knew what he was.
Obviously didn't grow up in my neighborhood.
He knew what he was doing.
Know, but
here, go glue some.
You know, and then like,
make a collage
for your mother. Come on.
Yeah, man. It's a fucked up life. All that that shit, man. And it's like, I remember one time I OD'd and like the motherfucker that was my friend, I wake up to some chick I don't even know fucking, you know, like she's got me in the shower fucking trying to revive me. And the motherfucker that I knew went through my wallet and stole fucking $500 while I was fucking half dead, like fucking turning blue. And the
He
motherfucker
already buried you.
You know, I was like,
That's
damn.
crazy.
And you know what? I wanted to beat his ass for a while, but now I'm just like, you know what? He probably saved my life by taking that $500 because I would have fucking went out and got high again and maybe not made it, you know?
It's interesting the way that works. Isn't it
Shit.
wild that we survived?
Oh man, I'm still in shock. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, but you know, whatever. I mean, you know.
But I was like listening to an interview you did, and then you were talking about how you got into running, and then you started running.
Oh, when I kicked smack,
after
yeah,
you kicked everything, like,
Well, no,
and you would
actually,
run.
that's how I kicked.
Yeah, you would run
yeah.
like 11 to 12 miles,
Oh,
like
man,
long.
yeah. Yeah.
I do that now.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to that same thing, extremes.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
when you get into like the healthy thing, you
Yeah,
go
Well,
far
dude, I
out
mean,
that
well,
way
that's
too.
Another funny
It's the same
thing is,
energy.
bro. I've been a vegetarian since like 1981. And even when I was fucked up on fucking like crystal and smack and everything else, like I was at my worst, and I was still making sure I'd get a shot of wheatgrass juice every day.
Yeah.
Because I was like, at least I know.
Balance it off.
Yeah, I was like, at least I know I'm getting some leafy green vegetables.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting some nutrients in my system to go with my crystal meth.
I know, but that logic does actually make sense to my mind too.
Well,
Like
I think that's what
those
kept me
kind,
going.
yeah,
I
those
think
kind of things.
That's what I do attribute the fact
Yeah,
that I was
the strange
still
balance.
eating fairly well, not often, but I was still a vegetarian. I think that's what. I think that's why I'm still alive and why I still am like fairly healthy and like look fairly alive.
Yeah, you
and,
look
know,
great,
I don't
man.
fucking feel mangled. You know, I mean,
Nah.
I'm a little hungover today, but besides that, you know.
Right. Yeah, well, honestly, though, because you are, even though, okay, like you could make a joke about it, one little shot of wheatgrass, like against all this other stuff, but if you think about it, you are giving yourself the message, I want to survive.
Yeah,
and you're then that power of manifestation,
which is
and
bizarre.
that's powerful, like that, those kind of messages.
Well, especially since on some level you're obviously trying to fucking kill yourself too, because you know you can't. I'm sorry, man. You cannot. I used to have this conversation with Bourdain all the time. Like, you can't be a dude who's sticking needles in your arms and not have some sort of a death wish, because somewhere in the back of your mind, you know that every time you do that could be the time that does you in. So, you know, what's the difference between fucking putting a rope around your neck or putting a rope around your arm and sticking a fucking needle in it? It's just one is a guarantee and the other one is like Russian roulette. You know, it's like, you know, it's. You know, and then that motherfucker went and offed himself, and I'm still fucked up over that, man.
I'm so sorry.
You know, I mean,
How close were you?
He did the fucking blurb to my book, man. You know,
Did he encourage you to write this?
He not only encouraged me. I mean, I thought the book was done.
Well, he's a great writer too.
Well, yeah, you know, and I actually let him read like the first half of the book before I submitted it to the publisher, and he gave me a few thoughts and a few not pointers really, but he was just like, you know, I think you should write more about one of the things he said to me, because like I got kids, and so I was not sure about some of the things that I was like, do I want them to read this? Do I want this out there?
How much truth are you about to tell?
Like, you know, and then he was like, you know what, man, don't be ashamed of any fucking thing. You know, whatever you've done, it's out there in the world. They're gonna hear about it.
Might as well
They're
hear
gonna
it from
find
you.
out. You know, just don't be ashamed of anything and just fucking put it all out there. And ironically, when me and their mother split up, she talked so much shit about me to them that really, you know, the book didn't matter anymore. It was like, you know, but he's the reason that I think that the book came out as good as it did, because I had taken out a lot of the drug stuff and a lot of the violence.
And he said, go further.
And he's like, fuck that, man. You know, dude, don't be ashamed of shit, man. Fucking throw it out there, man. Fuck everybody. And you know what? It's what made the book powerful, you know, because, and also he also encouraged me to write more about my mom and my aunt and stuff, because they were really significant. And my mother was, you know, I had a lot of issues with her, because like she was a hippie, and I pretty much grew up hitchhiking. I grew up traveling with her, and like basically just me and my mom. My father was in jail, and so basically
What was he in jail for?
Oh fuck, man, just petty bullshit. He was like breaking an entry and car theft, fucking whatever.
Okay.
He was a dope fiend, alcoholic. So he was just a perpetual fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid, my mom was a stripper, and I remember fucking going to her job with her and watching her shake her tits and stuff. And that was that kind of fucked me up a little bit. I didn't realize it then, but it definitely warped my relationships and and she was she struggled with alcoholism for most of her life till like the 80s, and I had a lot of issues with her because I always felt like, damn, Ma, what the fuck, like what made you take me to all these, why was I at Max's, why was I at CB's, why was I not a kid, why didn't you fucking let me be a kid? I felt like I grew up so fast and like I never even had a chance. And I was really pissed off at her about it for a long time, and it wasn't until like the last year of her life that we finally were able to like really make up.
That's awesome.
It was hard,
Yeah.
But I gotta take responsibility for my own actions. But it's just like, nonetheless, kids learn from what they're around and the adults around them. And it's like, I don't think it's fucking great environment for kids to grow up around like fucking, a bunch of fucking naked hippies running around high as fuck, and I mean, but I did experience and meet a lot of cool people because of her and because of that. I wouldn't have fucking, Allen Ginsberg was like an uncle, I mean, all the people, I met so many like culturally iconic,
significant
people like in the writing world. Like I knew so many fucking poets and shit that I never gave a fuck about poetry.
Right.
Like when you walk in your house and William Burroughs is sitting at the fucking kitchen table, it's just like, oh yeah,
that's a dream of so many people.
But I'm just like, oh, I know that old guy, like oh yeah, him, whatever, and it's like Allen Ginsberg coming down to fucking, I fucking, we lived with him for a long time. I mean, and then my aunt, she was badass too. I mean, she, I met Bob Dylan because of her. She was on the Rolling Thunder tour with him.
That's crazy.
And, she played fucking guitar with so many people. I mean, she's like,
What was her name?
Denise Mercedes. I mean, I got pictures of her jamming with Link Ray back in the fucking day, man. And, jamming with Bob Dylan and fucking, I started, I was playing music before I started playing with her, but she was a huge part of what made my life as fucked up as it is, Denise. No. But, like I started playing with her in the Stimulators when I was like 12. Was not my first band, was not my first touring or gigging band, but that was my first band in New York. And we were like the house band at Max's for fucking like years, We played with fucking everybody, man. And we played all the clubs. I mean, it was so weird back then to be like, and this was the thing where Dane always used to fucking bug out on. He was like, I would see you at the clubs and the bouncers would just like the door, the sea would just part. They just let you in. And I'm like, what the fuck is this 12-year-old even doing here? Why is he should be?
I can't imagine it. It seems so weird. Like,
well,
how does that happen?
It's fucking nuts.
Because if you're a musician, you just
you
get treated like
exactly.
I grew up in Ohio, and I was a professional musician in high school too.
Get it.
And we played 5 nights a week in Cleveland clubs.
The doors are open to you.
And we
Once
were
the bouncers know
biggest
you,
blues band in the scene. We opened up for Stevie Ray Vaughan, and it was the same thing. Waitresses would give me like a big Coke, but it was full of rum up to here. So I would be like in high school just getting fucked up in these bars and stuff, and there would be lines. I mean, different scene.
I didn't even make it to motherfucking high school, man. Yeah. That's how fucked my shit was, bro. Yeah. And it's like, literally, man, I'm fucking 12 years old, bumming quarters for the pinball machine, and Debbie Harry's over here. This one's fucking getting his dick sucked under a table over here. Johnny Thunder's got a fucking needle hanging out of his arm over here, and he's stumbling down the fucking steps from the backstage. I'm like, so I mean, it was very cool, but I wouldn't fucking want my kid to grow up like that.
No.
I mean, again, you want to talk about why I started fucking like shooting drugs at 15? Well, go fucking figure,
Yeah.
So,
Would you trade any of it out now?
Oh, fuck no.
Right.
But I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, life is experiences. You know, that's all it really is. And I've had some motherfuckers.
Yeah. That's wild. You really have.
Oh, fuck, man.
I just want to ask you this one question, and then I want to go into the story, though. But have you ever heard of Ho'oponopono?
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono.
That's a no.
It's a Hawaiian mantra about forgiveness and responsibility. And I just like
like some Hawaiian NA shit.
I guess probably like the mantra's like this: I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you sort of just repeat it. There's like these mantras, and it helps you to like take absolute responsibility for everything that's ever entered into your field of consciousness and let go of like any animosity towards anyone. And like even if you feel like somebody's wronged you, if you apply that within your own like psyche to them, it just kind of has this powerful releasing effect.
Cleanses your soul.
It cleanses. It's just a very weirdly powerful thing.
No, I get it. I mean, I'm not really there yet because I don't mind hating people. You know?
It's energy.
Yeah. You know, I don't give a fuck. There's some motherfuckers out there I wouldn't piss on if they were on fire. I wouldn't fucking piss on them to put it out.
Right.
You know, but you know.
But don't you think that drains your reserves?
Nah, because I'm a passionate motherfucker, man. You know, I'm a fire all the time, man.
Right.
You know, and so you know, but you know, hey, you know, fuck it. You know, live and let live, and at the same time, you know, I'll fucking smash your fucking skull open. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know.
But you're also really a sensitive dude, and I hear you talk about like
love in my heart.
Right, you could see it, and I liked what you said about how punk rock is personal and how you're personal and how like you approach social media or when you were on it in a personal way, but then you said, oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
You're dealing with all these assholes.
And I love,
you know, it's like,
and I loved it when you said that because I kind of address those realms with a very personal vibe too. And I noticed how it doesn't quite work.
It don't work. and it don't matter what the fuck you say. Some asshole is always gonna fucking find some reason or way to shit on you.
Yeah.
Like I could be like, man, it's a beautiful day. Somebody be like, no, it's not. Fuck you. There's such and such going on in the world. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Excuse me.
Fuck me, you know?
Right.
I will go back to sleep.
I think it's changing a little bit, though. I think people are appreciating personal things a bit more now just because of the fucked up times we're living in.
Yeah, you know what, man? I honestly, I know things have been fucked up for everybody else, but I've been fucking fine, man. This quarantine shit has been good for me, man. I wrote about 70 fucking songs. Fucking, you know, I've been just hanging out with my wife, who's like my favorite person. So it's just like me, my wife, and I exercise and I write music, man. Fuck everything. I'm good, you know.
I've approached it very similarly to that.
Bro, and I started getting back in the studio like 5 weeks ago. So I got like almost the basics for the next album and a half.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit,
I wrote
man.
a new album too.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
You know, it's good for artists.
Yeah.
We're used to going inside and doing
That's
things
what we
like,
do.
That is what we do.
You know?
We're ninjas at it.
Yeah. And besides, like I said, I don't really like people, man. So it's like me and my wife, I'm good, man. You know?
Self-contained.
Man, fuck I need out there. Not much.
No.
You know?
What kind of exercise? Well, you can't really do jiu-jitsu, or are you
rolling?
rolling?
I haven't been able to train any jits for a while. Hopefully, my job's, you know, I teach jiu-jitsu, so hopefully we were supposed to, they were saying we'd open up again in September. I don't fucking know, but I've just been doing you know, bands and fucking shitload of push-ups, and I just go in the park, find a nice spot by myself, by my house, and just fucking sweat and fucking push-ups, a few hundred push-ups.
No running though, because what's
well, you know, I love running, but my knees are fucked. Like
from running?
I don't know if it's from. Well, I also took a couple baseball bats to my knee that never really. Yeah. So I love running. I used to really love it, man. The endorphin release was just fucking beautiful. It was like that's why I was able to kick smack.
Dude, I love running. I love pushing myself to like do I'm going to run a half marathon. I go like East River, 10th Street, East River all the way down around the tip, back up to 14th Street on the West Side Highway, and then back. That's like 13 miles.
Yeah. I used to fucking go from I was staying down by the Twin Towers when this shit started, when I started doing the running. And I would run from there all the way up to the fucking reservoir in Central Park, do laps, and then run back the fuck down. And I'd do it sometimes at night because I'd be like, I'd start having my heroin fucking moments.
Yeah.
And I'd do that run, and on the way up, I would pop my head in a couple of the bars where I knew my friends are, and I'd see everybody, I just like say, what's up, and then I'd keep running. And on my way back down, here I am a few hours later, I pop my head back in, everybody's still standing basically in the same spot, just way more fucked up than they were when I saw them a few hours ago.
And you're way more high than them.
Yeah, and I'm just like, whew, I'm feeling like,
you feel amazing.
You know, I'm feeling like my endorphins are just fucking, you know, and these motherfuckers are looking like ass. Like, you know, they are, you know, they you know, and
they played
that's
themselves.
That's why I'm motherfucking 53, and I'm in better shape than most motherfucking 30-year-olds, 25-year-olds. I'll fuck a fucking 25-year-old's ass up.
It's true.
You know?
Like, what do you love about jiu-jitsu? What made you fall in love with that?
It's just so fucking, it's so technical. It's just fucking amazing, man. You know, like, honestly, like, I couldn't even tell you. I have no idea how many fights I've had because I used to be a violent predator, for lack of a better word. I used to go out and fuck people up like it was a fucking sport. Okay.
For the endorphins, or just to
just because
drain anger?
I just grew up in a fucking violent neighborhood, and it was just like, you know.
What neighborhood?
Well, I grew up on the Lower East Side back in the 70s through the 80s, and up in, like, I was in and out through till the 90s, and, you know, back then it was just like, you know, I mean, I was like the only white preteen and teenager on my block and in my area. There was only one other white family of kids, the Morrisons, and they all thought they were Puerto Rican, and their stepfather was black, so they didn't act like, they thought they were Puerto Rican. The whole neighborhood was Puerto Rican, and my ass used to get jumped like regular. Like, it was like, you know, I'd be walking to school and you make eye contact with somebody and you get in a fight, so people don't understand. Like, it's, you know, people talk about white privilege and shit, but where I grew up, the only privilege you got being white was you got your ass kicked. Mm-hmm. You know, you got fucked with because people saw white people as targets. Like, you got mugged. Mm-hmm. You know how many times I saw my aunt fucking, like, people trying to rob her. I mean, my mom's husband, motherfucker, got his nose almost shot off with a zip gun just walking home because he was white and because he fucking, you know, was walking down my block. Like, you know, so you grow up in that type of environment. And, you know, you start getting violent yourself. You know, it's like, because it's, you know, you're either predator or prey. Mm. You know, and once you get a taste for that shit, it becomes its own
addiction.
Yeah. You know, like I said, I fucking watched Clockwork Orange when I was 12 and tripping my face off. So when I started getting into fighting and actually started enjoying it, this shit became, like, almost like beautiful, if you can imagine. Like, it became like, plus I was always fucking high. I was always like on LSD and shit, you know? So it's like, you know, back in the 60s, you got people tripping and, oh, love and this and that. And we're fucking eating acid and kicking the shit out of people. And like, you know, watching in slow motion as the blood goes, and the head goes boom, 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 and the foot goes.
Acid will adapt itself to whatever situation.
Yeah, you know. So and like what happened was when I hitchhiked to Canada when I was like, well, first I hitchhiked to California when I was 14. I turned 15 out there, and then when I came back to New York, I hitched to Canada. And at that point, you know, I had already gotten a little bit rough because, you know, at that point I had been mugging people and shit to survive, you know, on the streets and shit like that, and still only 15. And then I hooked up with these fucking real scumbag motherfuckers in Canada who were like some of the most violent, just fucked up people I ever knew.
Fucked up Canadians?
Bro.
That goes against type.
Bro, you have no fucking clue. It really does go against type. But you know something? You fucking read this motherfucking book, and I still got people fucking who write to me about those dudes. And this is back in the 80s. And they're still, like, they were still, like, we would go out and fucking, you know, get in, like, 20, not even fights, more like unleash, like, 20 or more beatings in the course of a night. Go into a club. On the way to the club, people are getting their fucking heads kicked off. At the club, you're inevitably getting in a fight at the show. You know, coming back from the fucking show, you're getting in a fight. I mean, I remember we went to see a movie on a college campus, and we were like walking around kicking the fucking shit out of college students on the campus just because we were there and they were there. And, you know, and again, I don't want to sound like I'm proud of any of this shit, because I tell you, this is part of the reason why I had such a problem with alcohol and drugs, is because I had a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of post-traumatic stress, because, you know, I have been on the receiving end of those beatings. I've been beaten into the hospital, but I've been fucking left for dead. And those same fuckers that I was with in Canada, they wound up turning on me and beating my ass so bad, like kicking me around the fucking floor with steel cap boots on, stomping me out. Like I had to go to the hospital. And these guys were like in their 20s, and I was fucking 15. So it's like, when that is where your life is, you know, the violence is just, the extremeness of it, just like, I had to start getting like help, like mental help, over the last few years, because of the memories that like would keep me up at night, like shit that I've done and shit that's happened to me.
Well,
like,
the Ho'oponopono, also you can turn that on yourself too and forgive yourself.
Oh, I forgive myself, because, you know, I get it. I understand.
Right.
I mean, there are unforgivable things that I have done. No, let me rephrase that. I don't forgive myself, but I accept what I've done, because I honestly don't think that you can forgive yourself for some things. I think that the moment you forgive yourself is the moment you're fucking devaluing the horror of what the fuck you've done, and you're not accepting the responsibility for it anymore. I have to feel like shit for those things.
This is where, you might not like this next thing I say, but this is what I like about Christianity, is because it always gives you that redemption, the ability. And I know that there might be a knee-jerk reaction to like, fuck
you know
that.
What? I just
but
don't,
I do like.
I just don't fucking. I can't go there.
You can't go there. Yeah.
You know, then what? Fucking Hitler is fucking. You know, he can find Jesus and he's all good. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, I would rather feel fucked up about the things that I've done than just be okay with it. You know? I know I'm not going to do it again. And I also know...
Have you ever asked for forgiveness within yourself, or to an entity, or to whatever your vision of God is?
I may have. There was... I maybe on... severe amounts of hallucinogenics.
They help.
And he got a reply too.
Yeah, you know, dude, you want to talk fucking
nice,
bro? You want to fucking talk fuck up, man? I remember one time. This is when I was living in Brooklyn, right? I smoked a bunch of dust. I ate acid and fucking mushrooms, and drank mushroom tea and ate pills. I fucking was.
The mushrooms weren't enough. There was also a tea.
Bro, but check this out. No. You wait a second. Wait a second. You don't even know. Wait till the capper of this shit. So I'm in the fucking bathtub, right? I got the hot fucking water in the tub, like steaming hot, and I have the cold shower hit me, and I turned off all the lights, and I had the fan blowing on me, so I'm in darkness, total darkness, and I feel the cold hit me and the hot and the fan blowing. It was like all my senses, every sense was being fucked with, and I'm on fucking PCP, LSD, motherfucking mushrooms, and fucked up on pills. Bro, I'm done. Like, you know, people are like, yeah, you ever think about taking some? No. I did what I had to do. I don't think any good can ever come of that again. There's no point in opening that door. I went through the motherfucking rabbit hole, came out on the other motherfucking side, man. I'm lucky I can still think. Like, you know, there was a few times where I was like, wow, am I going to be like this forever? Like, I remember that a couple times where I was fuck, I think this might have been the time that did it.
Right.
I don't think I'm, okay, this is how I'm going to be functioning from now on,
What about like any of the other ones, like Ibogaine or DMT or
I
the
did
toad
DMT,
or anything?
what, toad licking?
The toad. No, you smoke the toad. Like
What?
No, you don't smoke a
frog?
toad. You smoke like this. The secretion.
You frog smoking motherfucker.
I've done it. I've done it twice. It's crazy, that one though.
Man, that's some
That was like a crazy DMT vibe. Like 20 minutes and you go into like some wild.
I have a few friends of mine that have been trying to get me to do that. What's it called?
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, I got a couple friends of mine who are like old school
popular
MMA guys. Like
I've actually never done that one. I've done Ibogaine. I've done
I don't
the
even
toad.
know what the fuck Ibogaine is.
That's a 3-day one from the Bwiti and like a West African tribe called the Bwiti. And they have a cracking of the skull ceremony, and the young people, the adolescent men, do Ibogaine ritual. They go for 3 days, and then they like meditate on their visions for like a few weeks in a hut, and when they return to the tribe, they tell the tribe their new name, and no one ever calls them by their old name again.
Oh, all right.
It's like a bunch of hippies.
Yeah, I mean, I just used to smoke dust and run
That's
around
beyond
the Lower East Side.
that's beyond hippie, dude. That's some wild shit, man. Like, that's when they're like 17. Something like that.
Yeah, fuck all that, man. I'm good.
So you started out like their first gigging band was the Stimulators, right? Or, like,
actually, no, but that was my first like
famous.
Yeah, I was in one punk band in Europe before then.
In Denmark.
Little Big Boss was the name, and it was me and these two French guys. It was fucking weird. It was like, again, I gotta be like, Mom, come on, really? I mean, she let me go on tour with these motherfuckers. Me and two French dudes that we didn't know from a fucking hole in the wall, who were in their 20s. And yeah, take my son, go on tour.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Who the fuck lets their fucking 12-year-old, 10-year, not even, I was like 11.
Right.
But that's your first tour. How do you, so that's the first time you go out.
That was my first tour.
And then how, as a 10-year-old, how do you process that? Do you know, like...
Well, I was already a punk rocker, so I was like, we were, shit was...
It was a game, it was just...
I was already a musician. Mm-hmm. I played in my school band, and like I used to actually, me and my friends from my school, we used to jam on the fucking street for money. Like, that was my first money I ever made, was playing music on the fucking sidewalk. So, but then, punk rock happened, and I gotta thank my mom for that one too. She fucking came home with bought me the Sex Pistols' first album and the Damn's first album, and that was it.
Yeah, she went in the record store and said, "What?"
Yeah, she was like, "What?" Yeah, she's like, "What are the kids listening to now? What's cool? What's new?" Because she's always been very up on music. She was always on the music scene. From basically from the birth of rock and roll. She remembers when it all began. She was one of those big beehive fucking hair. Little Richard and all that shit, I mean, yeah. But so touring, it was weird, man. It was definitely not an environment for a fucking 11-year-old.
Why do you think she was so sort of loose with their sort of parenting structures then?
Because, she came from the era when, people were rebelling. I mean, America up until the hippies was pretty uptight and rigid, and I guess they fucking went completely to the other end of that fucking spectrum. And then, she had me, and I was kind of just like an accessory, really. It wasn't like she all of a sudden like, I have a kid, now I have to start being a parent. It was like, okay, I have my kid, and let's go hitchhike.
But you're
Let's
also
go to this
kind of
show.
a star, you're kind of a child star in a weird way, and like in sort of like.
I didn't start out that way,
right?
It's before that happened. I was fucking hitchhiking and traveling all over the world, and like living in fucking North Africa, and going to the top of the fucking Atlas Mountains with like some guy named Muhammad. It was fucking.
That's wild.
It was weird.
How did you go to the top of the Atlas Mountains with Muhammad?
Hi, why?
How did that happen?
Because we lived at the foothills of the Atlas Mountains, and we wanted to go.
So your mom was like traveling and introducing you to all kinds of wild people.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah. I mean, that was with my stepfather too. at that point. I had a couple stepfathers for periods of time.
And you wrote a book of poetry when you were 7, and
it wasn't really poetry. It was short story, 2 short stories, mostly illustrations. But I wrote that in Morocco.
That's wild.
And that's why one of the stories is it's about a shopkeeper and his donkey in Morocco, and because that's what I was seeing. That was what was around me. It was fucking. I mean, it was wild. We were like the only white people, obviously, in the village we were living in. It was just like maybe 20 huts, like not huts, but like, mud houses, like alongside the road.
So Morocco, that has a beat. Like the Paul Bowles went to Morocco, and Burroughs and all those guys. Didn't they?
And fucking what's his name from the Rolling Stones went and recorded all that shit.
Right.
Brian James, all the master musicians of Jujuka.
Was she following like a beat poet out there? Or what
no. It was just it was just one of the things to do.
Right.
Hippies fucking went to Morocco for whatever reason.
Right.
And I mean, like I was saying, it was a small village, and we had this little bullshit mini type van type thing that we bought from the Danish postal department. So it was like a little post van type thing, and we would drive to Marrakesh, which was like a good hour or so from where we were staying, and like we would pile everybody from the fucking village into our fucking, like, it would be like standing room only, because it was a fucking long trek to get there otherwise, right? And we'd be driving back standing room with like motherfuckers holding, like, carrying chickens and goat heads and all kinds of shit, It's like, I didn't even know it was weird.
Right.
It
You
was
just
kind of
take
cool.
life as it comes when
It was
you're a
fucking
kid.
cool, yeah. I mean, some of the things I saw there really just blew my mind, like in Marrakesh, and just seeing all these fucking, I don't know if they were fucking Bedouins or what, but like dudes on these horses and their turbans and like these fucking, like, it was like fucking Aladdin type shit. Like, it was like, little fucking white kid, man. I was like, wow, this is motherfucking mind-boggling shit, man.
Did you start a spiritual kind of seeking in that realm? Like, just because all that pressure and intensity on a young mind, is that when you turn to, like, because I know that you have like a kind of a spiritual, like, sort of belief or conscious contact with a higher power type of thing. Did that occur when you were young like that, or did that come later?
That came later. I think that came actually. That really came as a result of the insane amount of violence and drugs that I saw and experienced on the Lower East Side, because I don't think you can like be in close contact with death so regularly and not seek something, because life seems so like
chaotic,
and it can go, it can end at any given second,
right?
So you got to find something, some meaning, some permanence, some anchor. Oh, thank you. And actually, no, this is still good, man. Yeah. But so, like, I wound up, discovering, Vaishnavism and Hinduism and this
What's
and that.
Vaishnavism?
Basically, that's what the fucking Hare Krishnas are into. That's
Hare
what they're not actually called Hare Krishnas. That's just the mantra that they chant. They're actually practicing the principles of Vaishnavism.
Okay.
But now, I've kind of gotten to a place, honestly, where I'm really more, I would have to say, agnostic than anything, because I don't know. And I don't claim to know. I don't pretend to know. And honestly, when people tell me they do know, I have to say to myself, I think you're full of shit.
Well, I know. I'm just kidding.
Well, please, share. But, it's just like, I just got to a place where I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm fine with not knowing.
I can respect that.
I think the goal is to be at peace when you die. Mm-hmm. If you can be there, then everything is cool. Because ultimately that's the moment that really counts. That's like the pop quiz. Like, did you figure it out? You know, or
what do you think happens when you die?
Fuck, you know.
I know we don't know, but what do you think?
Do you remember anything from your overdoses, like where you
let
almost
him
died?
answer the question.
No, you know, I really
because he almost died. And maybe he's got,
I died
you know,
a couple
memories
times.
from yeah. So
but,
what was it like?
But I couldn't tell you. I don't remember any fucking thing. But you know, I just, you know, if you could be at peace with yourself and not feel like freaked out about your life, and like, as long as you're not like afraid to go. And as long as you're not like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, oh, my children, my wife, my cat, you know, it's like people are like, that's panic, that's fear, that's definitely not the goal. You know, the goal is to be like, okay, I'm breathing, I'm relaxing, and I'm leaving, and I'm ready.
I'm good to go.
And if you're there, man, then you're good.
Yeah, I think that's a tall order to get there.
Yeah, but you know what?
I don't think many people get there.
Well,
I think
you know
some
what?
do.
I don't think many people get there. I think very few people get there. I think that's why the whole fucking world is running around like fucking headless chickens trying to distract themselves from the fact that they are going to fucking shit the bed.
Yep.
You know?
I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah. I mean, and I could tell you, you know, my mom was always really afraid of death, but when she did finally die, she was really okay with it. And
that's amazing.
You know, I just hope I can take a page out of her book.
What did you get to say to her before?
Sadly, she expired before I got to the hospital, but she was still warm, so
her spirit was there.
All of her body hadn't died yet, but she had expired, and but leading up to it, we had closure. And like I said, we had a really not great relationship for most of my adult life.
Right.
And you know, I loved her to death as a kid, but in hindsight, I got really pissed off.
Right.
And, you know, I'm just glad that me and her were able to put that shit in its place.
I'm glad for you too, man. I have a similar difficulty with my family of origin too, and kind of coming back around towards trying to find some peace.
You got to fix that shit, man.
You got to fix it
because
or
otherwise
do your best.
You wind up with a hole in your heart, man.
Yeah.
Because you can't, once they're gone, you can't fix it. And then then all you can do is just try to be okay with it.
Right. You got to fix it within yourself. Some people you can't really fix it with because there's no give.
Agreed.
You know,
but then you also have to be able to be good with that.
And that's why I like the Ho'oponopono, because it's my
Ho'oponopono ass motherfucker.
Pushing it.
Did you buy that trademark or something? Do you like sell
this is a big
Ho'oponopono
juice right here, dude.
This motherfucker.
He's on to you, Poppy.
Yeah, I got it. I got you pegged, nigga.
So like with the stimulators, you guys got like pretty popular, right?
Yeah,
you became a big band.
I didn't know you did covers, or you were the house band.
No, we did a couple covers, but we were not a cover band. No, we were doing well. I mean, we toured we went to motherfucking Ireland. They wouldn't let us tour the UK because I was a minor. Every fucking way.
Dublin?
We was in Dublin,
Whelan's,
Belfast.
Waylands?
We were in Derry, Cork.
Kilkenny?
No, we didn't play there. But I mean, that was
Cork is nice.
That was a game changer for me, because that was like, I was telling you, my neighborhood was pretty rough, right? And like, you know, Whitey pretty much got his ass kicked. That was his job in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And when I went to Belfast and I saw all these fucking roughneck motherfucking hard ass white boys fighting with the cops, fighting with the RUC, like going toe to toe with motherfucking cops, shit, with shields and shit, and they're fighting them. And I'm like, whoa, I'm like, damn, white boys got some fucking heart, man. I'm like, shit, I didn't know.
And that's where you discovered the skinhead.
Well, that's
when
I got my head shaved, was in Belfast by the guy who was roadieing for this band called the Outcasts.
Okay.
And he, shaved my head, gave me a pair of suspenders.
Wait, he was a roadie for Outkast?
Yeah, the Outcast. No, not the rapper.
I know, I'm making a joke. Come in, being a dick.
Hold on, motherfucker. All right.
Nailed it.
But yeah, so like when I came back to New York, like I remember the Skins over there, they were like, teach America about skinheads.
Right.
And so like I went on a fucking mission, and that's again one of not my proudest moments because, we all saw where that went.
What, the skinhead movement?
Yeah, I mean, it started off as a good time, fucking went way south. But
Well, what do you mean by like the racist part of that? Or there's not everybody's a skinhead. Obviously, is like
no, I know, but that's to me, I can only speak for myself, but the skinhead thing for me wasn't about the fucking clothing or the music. It was about the violence.
Oh, I see. Right.
We were like the thugs of the punk rock scene.
Right.
Basically, we listened to the same music, but we kicked people's asses.
But it makes
punk rockers
sense.
got jumped. We didn't get jumped.
It makes sense
we
that
did
you
the
went
jumping.
that way, considing where you grew
Well, yeah,
up with.
it made all the sense.
All of a sudden, now you can
all
become
of a sudden I
the
became
aggressor.
A man. Exactly. All of a sudden, I was finding what I thought was my manhood, and that's why as a father now, I'm going through some shit with my eldest son, who's out in the streets doing his wild shit.
Okay.
He's in a gang. He's fucking up. He's doing shit he shouldn't
wild.
be doing, and but as much as it freaks me out, I also get it and I understand. Unfortunately, he doesn't live with me, so I understand what it's like to not have a positive male figure in your life on a regular basis. You're going to gravitate towards the alphas, and you're not going to gravitate towards the people who are like getting victimized. You're going to gravitate towards you want to be the man. You want to be a hard ass. You don't want to be a fucking puss. You want to fucking who's the biggest baddest motherfucking gorilla in the jungle? Who runs the gorillas? The biggest baddest one.
Right.
Same shit with the fucking lions or whoever else.
Yeah.
So as a young male with no fucking direction, no guidance, you see nothing but shit around you, it's really easy to fucking get lost.
Is his perspective of you like poisoned by your ex-wife?
It was, but I'm confident that I'm making the impact on him that I need to make. All you can do is be the example. You can't make other people do necessarily what you want them to do. You can't make them think the way you want them to think. All you can do is be the person that inspires. Like, you have to take it upon yourself to, I am going to set an example. I changed my life. I'm happy. I'm making money. I'm not out there stomping motherfuckers. I'm not out there fucking doing wrong shit. Have I done wrong shit? Yes. I'm not that person. Okay, I think a lot of the fucked up things I did were a direct result of post-traumatic stress. Because not knowing that you have it, but responding to everything with it, you don't know you have PTSD until somebody fucking lets you in on that little secret. So when somebody fucking pushes you the wrong way, you don't go from like 0 to 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5. You go from 0 to 100. Motherfucker!
Right.
What? I fucking,
I know. I feel you on that.
Know,
I've been there too. Yeah.
So I know that, what I want for him, I gotta show him by being that. I can't make him that. I gotta be that.
How old is he?
He's gonna be 18.
Oh, okay.
It's the fucking hardest part of life, man.
Yeah.
So, you can't, all you can do is what you can do.
And you have 2 kids?
Yeah, 2 sons.
And then how old's the other one?
15.
Oh, okay.
Man.
Is he going down a weird road too, or
you
not?
know what? No, but yeah, you know, he's not going down that road.
Right.
You know, I don't have any siblings, but the more I know about people, it's like two kids can be brothers and close to the same age and be completely so different humans.
Absolutely.
So different human beings.
They usually are.
Mind-bogglingly so.
Yeah.
Mind-bogglingly so, man. And, you know, I fucking love them both to death. They're both great kids. You know, he's lost right now, and that's life. Who the fuck hasn't been lost at 18?
Damn, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I've been lost at, throughout my 40s, dude.
My dude, man. I just fucking found myself a few years ago, man.
Me too, dude.
You know?
Me too. I'm still finding.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking, I was talking to someone about, like, this stuff, like, the whole concept of I found Jesus. It's like I would never say I found Jesus, because that sounds the same thing as like I'm enlightened. I'm like finding Jesus or finding myself or whatever. I know you might not want to frame it in a Jesus-y way, and I get that, but
you know, everybody needs a guru, bro.
Right.
A guru is just a teacher,
or God or whatever.
It's just a teacher, bro. You know, and you know, if people can have enough faith to hold on, and you know, that's what religion is there for. That's what God is there for. To give you the faith that you don't have.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever read Sid Arthur by Herman Hesse?
No.
Okay.
I'm not much of a reader. I hate to admit.
Yeah. Well,
I write. I don't read.
It's like the story. It's like the story of the Buddha, and he you know, at first is like just out there and like meditating and stuff, and then he finally goes into the world, and he ends up having a son. And the interesting part of the story is, even though he's mastered all these things in life, he has this difficult relationship with his son.
Well, I'm kind of in the same fucking position.
Yeah, it reminded me of that.
Sort of. But, you know, I think that is... I guess that's a normal thing, because kids are going to... As much as they learn from you, they're also going to rebel against you.
100%.
There's going to be a little bit of both. You know, and the weird shit, though, the really weird shit, I mean, I doubt you look at any of my social media bullshit, but
I just started following you on Instagram.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'll be like,
so now you'll be fucking,
I'll be low-key stalking you.
You'll be like,
now.
Yo, bro, hona momo mo.
I'll be like, hey, bro, remember about Ho'oponopono,
yeah,
bro?
Exactly, dude. Ho'oponopono, motherfucker. You know? But check it. So like, I write a lot of shit about like, I don't want to say self-help, but I
do too. I
write a
love that
lot
shit.
of shit about, you know, not giving up.
Right.
Like, because this last record, when I was, you know, first of all, my boy Bourdain fucking killed himself. That fucking just fucked me up. And then, you know.
Isn't there controversy around that, though? Or
death. He's dead.
Right.
But, you know,
one way
what
or the other.
controversy? The motherfucker's gone. He's not
Right.
breathing fucking air anymore.
Right.
You know? I don't give a fuck. He's dead.
Yeah.
You know? It's fucking heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
You know? And so it's like, I got this guy that is like one of the only fucking friends of mine that I like looked up to. Mm-hmm. I don't look up to many people. There's very few people that can even fucking have a conversation with me that's worth shit. Because most people haven't done fucking anything or seen fuck all.
Right.
This is a guy that I could sit and fucking talk to. This was a guy that I could ask questions. A guy that I would fucking, you know, I would know I was going to see him, and I'd be racking my brain. What do I want to talk about with him? What do I want to ask him? What kind of conversation do I want to try to kick off? Because I knew I'd get something out of it. And any fucking, you know, a moment of fucking weakness. That's all. That's all it fucking takes.
I know.
And it's like, you know, and I'm always telling people, like, don't fucking give up, man. My life was a fucking hell. I lost everything. I lost the people I loved. I fucking lost everything. I could have never imagined ever being happy. I could have never imagined ever fucking being in love again.
Right.
Finding peace. And the fact that I fucking did is why I tell people, you don't know what the future has for you.
Exactly.
Things may suck right now. They may suck for a fucking... It took me almost 8 fucking years. If you would have told me your life is going to suck ass for 8 years, and then it's going to be all right. I'd be like, man, I don't think I can take this for fucking 8 years, bro. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I did. And motherfuckers handle worse than that. So you know what? There is hope.
Definitely.
There is fucking hope.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all you have.
Yeah. I think our states of mind are being attacked right now, too, by all that's going on.
You know what? I think we're just fucking weak. I think motherfuckers are just crumbling under the little bit of fucking pressure that's fucking happening. Oh, fucking who?
It's a lot of pressure.
What?
It's
motherfuckers can't go out.
It's a lot.
You know, I'm sorry,
it's layered.
Man. I'm sorry, man. Fucking motherfucking, you know, you want to talk about pressure? Imagine living in a fucking behind a wall or in a basement for fucking till the war ends because you don't want to fucking get killed by the fucking Nazis.
Yeah.
You know? You want to talk about pressure? Fucking go to Liberia where motherfuckers are hacking each other up with fucking machetes.
Yeah.
We ain't got shit to
People
fucking
here can't get a haircut and they
it's
freak
like,
out.
what the fuck is your
problem? It's beyond that. Come on.
Bro, I'm sorry, man. People are fucking fragile, man. The humanity, as my wife always points out to me, is a fucking tissue tear away from fucking total motherfucking chaos.
Yeah. People need purpose.
If
people have purpose, they can overcome anything. But without that, you're hobbled. You know, it's really like this guy Eckhart Tolle. You ever heard of him? Power of Now or whatever. Do you know?
I don't know shit, bro. I didn't even know about the ho momo.
He's
Coco, whatever.
He's like self-helpy too, though. Like, but he said this book. He read this book called "The Road Less Traveled." And the first
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's by Dr. Scott M. Peck or whatever. But the first sentence on it was
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss, but no, it's Doctor. I'm trying to come up with a joke, but none.
If you gotta think on it too hard,
no,
just
it's fucked up.
Forget it. Yeah.
But the first sentence on it is life is difficult, and then he said he could put the book down because once you frame life like with that knowledge that it's supposed to be difficult.
Well, yeah,
or like
you ain't gonna learn shit if it's easy all the fucking time.
Yeah, but that helps people like to know. Oh, it's like if I go into 12-step programs and everybody's like talking about how difficult shit is, it makes me feel better. Like not misery loves company, but kind of.
I couldn't fuck with all that 12-step shit, man. I you know what? A bunch of people sitting around talking about getting high, like it's you might as well just go get high, man. You're sitting there fucking meditating on it, talking about you're sitting there drinking caffeine and chain smoking cigarettes and talking about getting.
I know.
I'm like, dude, not for me,
that was
man.
like my first like community when I found that when it was quite young, and it was like I think similar to what you found when you discovered like Hare Krishnas and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
a family.
Yeah, I think I was really just looking for. I don't know what the fuck I was looking for. I was just lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just be clear that I'm not down with religions. Okay, again, like I said before, I think at this point in my life, I'm agnostic because I don't claim to have any kind of answers.
Right.
But I will say this, though, that I reject that completely because purely based on the fact that India is a fucking caste system and I can't go there. I can't go there. A religion that comes from a culture that is based on racism and sexism and bullshit. I can't.
You can't.
I just can't go there. And most religions, once you peel back the spiritual part of it, are basically, political organizations based on motherfucking, oppression, male dominance, and fucking horse shit.
Yeah.
And I cannot fucking go there.
Yeah,
I can't fucking go there, man.
And I don't love organized religion.
I just can't, man. I can't
thing.
fucking go there. I'm done. Just like I am not a Democrat or a fucking Republican. I think all these motherfuckers are all full of fucking shit.
Right. It's true. It creates division.
Yeah, man.
So, but you were talking about you like posting. You were saying about you were posting positive.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying is like I get a lot of people writing me who are like, "Thank you for I was gonna kill myself. I was gonna." So it's like I got all these people that are constantly thanking me and yet I can't fucking reach my son. That's where I was going with that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know, it's like you can be like a guide to so many people, and then the person that you want to help the most, you can't get through to. And, you know,
it's wild isn't it?
It's some wild shit, man.
I have a similar feeling.
You know, this is, I guess, what being a father is. It's like, you know, being concerned, being, you know, hopeful, and, you know, waiting for that fucking bad phone call, hoping you don't get it.
Yeah.
And, you know, just hoping they make it to 25 so that, you know, that they'll be all right.
Yeah, and you're now inspired, right, with your new music and stuff like that.
I'm always inspired, man.
I saw it because I went on your Instagram. You're like, I'm about to, like, make the best cro-mags
I'm
record.
always climbing, man. I'm climbing. Yeah, I don't even...
How do you see, because that is the gift and the blessing right there, that desire to... just that energy you just gave out. That's I'm always
my joy. That's my joy.
So many people don't have that.
For me, that's like it's like surfing or
How do you get
skydiving.
that?
It's my joy. I mean, I actually think it's a mental disorder.
It's faith. It's faith.
You know, I think it's a tick. I think I have a fucking tick. I think I'm just like it's like instead of like, you know, tapping my foot, I play my bass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's a fucking neurosis, man, because it's like the fact that I'm up at 2, 3 in the morning thinking of time signatures, overlapping different time signatures in my head and counting them. And I'm, what the fuck is wrong with me? Who does this besides a fucking crazy person? Like, who sits up at 3 fucking in the morning trying to figure out a chord progression because I'm trying to write this song so that I can go and play it for people and hopefully they'll like it. What's my fucking problem?
That's the best.
Why can't I not just
creative
chill the fuck
genius?
out?
Dude, if you don't have that, you have like, you're just bored.
Yeah.
I would fucking lose my mind.
I would too. So many people don't have that. That's a big gift.
It's like the need to create, right?
That need to create. Where does
It
that
fucking
drive?
makes me nuts, man.
Where does that drive come from?
I don't know, man. I was, you know.
Jocko Pastorius.
Yeah, that motherfucker, man. I have one of his basses.
I heard that.
Yeah,
that's very enviable, man. What?
Yeah, it's not
He's
one you
a
would
hero
ever
of
seen
mine.
him play. It's an Ibanez. I've never seen him play
That's
one
still,
live.
who cares?
Yeah, he got it in Japan when he was over there with Weather
I'll
Report.
take
Right.
it.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get the Fender P bass or whatever. No, jazz bass. He was a jazz
yeah.
bass guy, but
Yeah,
that fretless one.
Yeah,
he ripped his frets.
Yeah.
I did that with a P bass just because of him.
Just to emulate him.
Bro, I worshipped him.
I almost did it to several basses.
I did it to one of mine.
Not doing it, but
yeah,
you know.
I still have the one that I did it to. Yeah.
It was fucking funny. He was crazy, man. I have a few moments.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, a few times, but never like coherently. Like
Right.
I can't say I met him. I was near him while he was, you know, being his messy fucking self.
Yeah.
Several times. I remember one time seeing him fucking naked on the street, pouring a Foster's over his head, and these 2 chicks were trying to get him into a cab. That was one funny time. I remember one fucked up story, man. Daryl from the Bad Brains, man, he met him and he was gonna get a. Jocko said, "Come by my house sometime. I'll give you a free bass lesson." So fucking Daryl naturally was like, "Oh my fucking God! Like I'm gonna get a bass lesson from God, you know?"
Right.
Like
the Jimi Hendrix of bass.
yeah, you know? So fucking Daryl's like pumped. He fucking goes, gets his bass. He fucking goes over to the building where Jocko meets, where we're supposed to meet Jocko. Jocko fucking shows up like whatever, an hour later. Doesn't have the keys, so they have to climb the fucking fire escape to get in, right? So they get in, they go upstairs. Daryl's like, oh, fucking, this is going to be great. And fucking Jocko fucking cracks out a fucking crack stem and says, "Are you ready for your free bass lesson?"
Oh my God.
Bass.
I get it.
I
fucking
broke Daryl's heart. Like he was just like his soul just sank.
Did he smoke with Jocko?
no.
No, he didn't. No.
Did you?
No. I was never really. I bassed a few times. That shit was not my thing. I remember, back in the day when motherfuckers used to have to like carry a briefcase with all their shit,
How did you switch from drums to bass then and start the cro-mags, or how did that?
You know what? I just got tired of writing music and teaching it to other people. Because I was writing music.
What would you write on?
Bass.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So after playing with like several different assholes and basically teaching them how to play, like bringing them from the level of amateurs to actually being functioning musicians, and then fucking them bailing, and I was like, man, fuck this. Tired of writing songs and teaching them the motherfuckers, and then they don't fucking stick around. Yeah. So I just switched, and we got a drummer. But
easy switch for you?
Yeah. Funny shit though. When I first started playing bass, I used to, how you play this way, but when I first started playing, I would sit the fucking bass on my lap and play it almost like a pedal steel.
Like Jeff Healey?
Yeah, I'd be fretting over the top of the neck instead of underneath the bottom, and kind of hitting the strings because I was still like more of a drummer. And that's how I first started writing songs, Yeah,
your style's real percussive anyway.
It's all percussive,
super
man. It's all percussive. I just fucking play the drums on the bass. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. That's why me and my drummer are fucking like, we have a real beautiful connection, man. That's also why I'm a little fucking beat up today, man. Me and that savage fucking killed a fucking entire bottle of vodka last night. And
oh, really?
I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember walking my dogs this morning.
That's funny.
Big fucking bottle, man. Painful.
Where'd you go?
Nowhere. My couch.
People are outside drinking though now.
I don't do that. I like to be close to my bed. I don't want to have to get home once I'm drunk.
Do you smoke weed?
I've been known to smoke some weed in my life.
I almost brought some, but I didn't. I don't know. I have CBD though. If you want some of that.
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. But thank you.
So how'd the cro-mags start? What's the story there?
I knew I wanted to do something different, and I started writing songs, and I quit the Stimulators because I wanted to do that. It was really because like I was starting it was the first wave of hardcore bands were starting to happen. Punk was just starting to transition. Max's was still around.
What's the difference between punk and hardcore?
Well, it was just a progression of the same thing.
Right.
Hardcore just got a little faster.
Okay.
This pogo dancing turned into slam dancing and stage diving, and I think punk rock was a little bit more fashion conscious, and hardcore was less give a fuck about the effort of perfectly spiking your mohawk and having your bondage pants and all your perfect
more real
spikes.
Anger. I think
it was just more. The music was more hostile, I think,
more aggressive,
and the dancing became more violent, and it got faster. It kind of got stripped down, like I was saying. Kids, instead of wearing like all kinds of fucking gear and shit, started just wearing like sneakers or boots and jeans and t-shirts and shaving their heads or whatever. Like, it just got, it's just a fucking another chapter of punk rock. It was like basically like mainstream media had kind of declared punk rock was done. Sid had died, and that pretty much, when Nancy died, it like scared everybody out of punk rock. Like all the major labels had been signing. They had started signing bands. The Clash got signed to like fucking major label. Generation X was on like Chrysalis or whoever the fuck. Like Susie and the Banshees. All the big punk bands were getting signed. They were no longer garage bands. They were actually playing at the fucking Palladium in like big places.
Right.
And then fucking Nancy fucking died, and Sid, and then it was like everybody was like, "Oh, punk's over! Don't touch this shit!" Up, all of a sudden Billy Idol's fucking, rebel yelling and every fucking thing else. Like punk rock got scary, It was like it was cool.
It got real.
Yeah, it got real when motherfuckers like when that shit went down. It got scary for people, and then the rest of us were like, "We're not done." Yeah, punk rock might be dead on King's Row in fucking England, but it's very much motherfucking alive on Avenue A, bitches. Right. We were just not done. So the music got faster, the shit got more aggressive, and you know, I was really inspired by like, you know, bands that the Stimulators had been playing with. Like we've played with the Circle Jerks in their first New York show. I was
Wow.
with Black Flag when they were auditioning Henry, and I remember before he was in the band, and you know, so things like that were starting to happen, and they weren't really called hardcore bands yet. People started calling it hardcore punk, and then the band DOA from Canada put out a record, I think it was called Hardcore 82, and that's kind of the first time that the name was used in context with a music style.
New York hardcore wasn't...
Before that, you only associate it with pornography.
Oh, right.
So it wasn't New York hardcore right off the bat? That came later, the name?
Yeah. That was like and that whole, the X symbol with the NYHC, they stole that from DC. You know, they used to do the DC hardcore thing, and that X that they used to use in DC...
That's the straight edge shit.
Well,
right?
How that came about was they would have all age shows in DC.
Oh, I see.
And if you were a minor, they'd draw a big X on
still
your hand
do.
so that you couldn't buy alcohol. So that's how that started. So all the straight edge kids in DC started doing that as their thing, and they started writing X's on. So we, being the assholes we were, started doing like X's with circles. We were no edge. We were like, fuck you. You know, Ian, they had that song, don't drink, don't smoke, don't fuck. We were like, we drink, we smoke, we fuck you. You know, we were just assholes. We were a bunch of nihilistic fucking you know, we were just total assholes.
How old are you now at that time?
Then?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, 1980. How fucking old was I? Like 15 or some shit, 16. I mean, I'm fucking 53, you know.
So cro-mags started when you were that young.
Yeah. I mean, that's when I started piecing it together. It took until like 1984 before it was like an actual gigging. I went through like several lineups and only did like one gig, and I actually didn't even do the gig under the name Cro-Mags because I felt like it wasn't really ready yet. So I wanted to get up on stage and I wanted to get our feet wet, but I was like, we're not there yet, so I'm not advertising the name yet because I don't want people.
Because you already had the name and
I already had the name, and I also had a reputation because of having been in the Stimulators. I knew that everybody knew that I was starting a band called the Cro-Mags. I was writing it everywhere.
Right.
And I knew that if I advertised the Cro-Mags, all my friends and all the kids from the scene were all going to come. And
judge.
And I knew that we
like
this. Exactly, because because I had a rep. I was an actual musician. I wasn't one of these fucking amateur motherfuckers. You know, all those hardcore kids were pretty much hacks. They weren't really musicians. Right. I was. And I knew that the shit wasn't ready, so I called it as a joke, I called it Disco Smoothie. You know, and it was so funny because we played at the Peppermint Lounge, right? And like all these weird like disco motherfuckers showed
Disco
up.
Smoothie. Yeah, it was like this Peppermint Lounge.
Yeah, it was like this like motherfuckers in there who looked like straight
Talk
Saturday
about Dr.
night fucking
Seuss.
fever. Man.
There's my Dr. Seuss joke. Disco Smoothie at the Peppermint Lounge sounds like a Dr. Seuss story.
It does sound like a fucking Dr. Seuss. That's like right after Dogs and Cars.
Yeah. So what the first Cro-Mags gig, was it packed or what was the scene when you guys were ready?
Oh, when we started actually playing as the Cro-Mags? Yeah. We fucking took over. Like first show, we owned it. Like every other band was like, ugh.
Where was the first show?
CB's.
Wow.
And I remember all the other bands kind of not being thrilled.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, man, we fucking day one, man, we smoked all those motherfuckers.
Right. How'd you find everybody who became the first iteration of the Cro-Mags?
They were all people I knew from having come to Stimulator shows.
Right.
Paris, the old guitarist, he was a huge Stimulators fan, and he'd been coming to see us play for years. Same thing with John. I had met him at our shows, and Mackie I knew from around the way because he had played drums with a couple other local bands. He played with like Urban Blight and this band called Frontline. And he was really the only drummer in the city besides myself that were any good as far as rock drummers of that genre. Mm-hmm. So like when I switched to drums, it was kind of like, fuck, what do I do? And he was
when you switched to bass.
That's what I mean. When I switched to bass, it was like, what do I do now? Like who? And Paris was like, maybe we should ask Mackie, and I didn't think he'd do it, but he did, and pow.
The rest is
and
history.
That was the lineup that launched Age of Quarrel, and of course, the cro-mags have been through like, fucking revolving door lineups. I mean, there's been, I have to think about all the people that have been in the band. It's like, but the one consistent thing has been me. I came up with the name. I recorded the first demo by myself. I fucking played the drums, bass, guitar, and sang on it.
Oh, you did all that?
Yeah, that was the template. That was what started it.
Where did you record it?
At this place called High Five Studio, I think.
Did you sing on the first demo too?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just want to be the singer and bass player? You just wanted to.
I didn't want to be the singing bass player. I never wanted to be the singer. I sang on that because I was making, I was making a record. I was trying to put something together, but I never really wanted to be a singer. I'm a musician. I like to play. I like to write music. I like to touch instruments. I never wanted to just like, hey, I'm up here with my microphone. Fucking love me.
Hey man, that's what I do.
Well, it's like, you know what? God bless you.
I'm
we
up
need
here
that
with my
guy.
microphone.
We need that guy. You know what I'm saying? Without that guy, the rest of the band doesn't have a job.
Yeah. That's funny. So you guys, and then you got signed to the hip hop label.
Yeah,
too, right?
Profile.
Profile.
Yeah, it was great. It was funny because it was
Run
DMC, fucking Rob Bass. I remember all that shit was coming out at the same time as Age of Quarrel. In fact, there was a great fucking fuck up at the pressing plant because they were pressing Run DMC's records. I had a couple of Age of Quarrels with the Run DMC fucking logo like with the label from the Run DMC on the fucking vinyl.
But it's the right vinyl or just the wrong label?
No, it's the right vinyl.
Wrong label.
Just the wrong label on it.
Wrong label.
Yeah, it was fucking cool.
That's funny. That's probably worth something.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I wish I knew where my copy of that shit went.
Right.
Somebody stole that motherfucker.
And you guys kind of blew up straight away, right?
Yeah.
Like you got big. And
we were the first hardcore band that I know of that got signed to an actual real label. Like everybody else was indies. Yeah, man. We went on tour with Motorhead like pretty much right away.
That's crazy.
I mean, well, no, not right away. We went on tour with Motorhead in '87, and we started gigging like CBs and everywhere in '84. So it wasn't that long. It wasn't that.
Where were Motorhead playing in '87?
What was it like being on tour with Lemmy?
It was fucking great. They were playing. Where did I see them? The first time they played in New York, they played at Irving Plaza.
Oh, that size venues. Oh.
And then the second time they played at the Palladium, and then they played at L'Amour's in Queens once. But we were playing all different size venues. You were mostly 1,000 or up. And
that's massive.
For us, the opportunity to play with Motorhead was like huge. I mean, we were used to playing places like A7. We didn't play A7, but.
Yeah,
we were used to playing clubs the size of this basement here, and all of a sudden we're playing in front of like, not just big crowds, but like metal crowds, and that was also really kind of the birth of crossover because it was the first time that metalheads were being exposed to hardcore, and then we had a video that wound up on MTV Headbanger Ball, and that's what caused hardcore to finally really kind of blow up because all of a sudden all these metalheads who had never seen a mosh pit or a stage dive or a dude in a band with a shaved head and tattoos, it was like kind of like, oh shit, all of a sudden these guys all realized that they looked like a bunch of bitches in their fucking spandex and their foofy fucking hair. So all of a sudden, you got a whole army of fucking metalheads fucking getting into hardcore, and I remember fucking, when Scott Ian from Anthrax and all them dudes, like in Nuclear Assault and all and Carnivore, and when all those guys first started coming to CBs and shit, and and they'd get their asses kicked. The hardcore scene wasn't too fucking friendly to outsiders back in the day, and especially not fucking long hairs. No offense, guys, but no offense. But you know what? I remember one time there was this fight in front of CBs. This fucking friend of mine bit this motherfucker's thumb off and spat it down the fucking sewer.
Wow.
And the whole fight started over who's better, the Cro-Mags or Anthrax. That started the fight. That turned into like a fucking
dismemberment,
a massive fucking
there
beat
goes
down.
That guy's hitchhiking career.
bro, can't even open a fucking door, man. Bro, that was fucked up, man.
That is fucked up.
And then the motherfucker bites his finger off, fucking stands up, got blood all over his face, and goes, "Harley, get me out of here!" I'm like, dude, like, why did you just scream my name? Like
why did you attach me to that?
Yes, right. I'm not even in this fight, man. Like I'm not even involved with this shit. Now I'm like running down the street with this fucking asshole who's picking fucking pieces of skin and thumb out of his fucking teeth.
But I'm guessing he thought the cro-mags were better than Anthrax.
Yeah. Yes.
See what your fans do, man.
Yeah, man. We had some fucked up fans, man.
That's some wild shit.
You know, and it's like, you know, I'm good friends with Scott now and shit. And it's like I remember seeing him at CB's and he had like his long ass hair and he had his leather jacket. He looked like a hardcore kid from the neck down. Like he had his combat boots and his agnostic front shirt on, whatever. But from here up, it was like, who the fuck is this metalhead?
Right.
But the kid he was walking with, from the neck down, looked like a metalhead. Like he was wearing sneakers and jeans and like, I don't know, Metallica shirt or something. But he had his head shaved, and I remember looking at them and I'm like these guys look like they switched heads. I'm like, and I just remember thinking like, this is the beginning of the end, or this is the beginning of something new. And you know, it kind of was the beginning of something new, because that's when hardcore and metal collided, and you know, crossover, and Anthrax and Testament and Exodus and Slayer and every fucking thing else.
Even Megadeth.
Yeah, even, but they, you know, they were more of always a musician's band though, like a little more technical and less aggression.
And then Anthrax, like
I know Dave would say there's plenty of aggression,
right?
But Usher did. They collaborated with hip hop too. Anthrax.
Yeah, they worked with Public Enemy.
Public Enemy,
and
right.
And then there was that whole moment where Judgment Night or Judgment, whatever the fuck that movie, where they did the whole soundtrack was all like hardcore hip hop collaborations. Like I think Biohazard did something with Onyx or some shit, and yeah.
Wait, so what happened to the band though? Like, and where did all the animosity come from? That
you know how difficult it is to be in a band. You've been doing this shit forever. I mean, it's like being married to 4 dudes, man. It sucks, you know. It's like all testosterone, fucking. You're married to 4 fucking guys. You don't get no pussy because they're all guys. You know, it's like being married to 4 people. You can't stand half the time.
4 alphas.
Yeah, well, no, there was always one alpha in my band.
And who was that?
What are you fucking talking about? That's why there's
one alpha and 3 betas.
Yeah, three fucking motherfuckers who got left in the dust. But you know what? It ain't easy being in a band. I mean, it's fucking. You're practically living with motherfuckers. You're stuck in a van. You're sleeping in the same hotel, sometimes the same bed. You know, fucking. You got to deal with each other and all their fucking bullshit every day, and you know, all the typical bullshit. You got. First of all, we're older now, so shit is easier. You're not as fucking ignorant and stupid, and you're not like out trying to fucking get ass and get fucking prove your manhood and every fucking thing else. So you don't have all that. You know, when you're young, everybody's got a fucking ego. Everybody's, you know, and we all know, you know, singers are, you know, they're not really musicians, so they have extra problems. You know, so it's like a whole babysitting fucking thing going on there, you know. And then, you know, it's just not fucking easy, man. And that's why so fucking few bands stay together, you know. And until, you know, some people are smart enough to say, hey, you know what, you want to do this for a fucking living, or you want to fucking work at fucking Starbucks? Right. You know, let's get along because we're actually making some money. Yeah.
What film did you just do?
It's called Between Wars, and Michael Imperioli's in it.
Oh man, he's been on the podcast.
Yeah, he's cool as fuck, man.
That's one of the coolest dudes.
Very cool dude.
And did you read his book? Oh, you're not much of a reader.
I don't read much, man.
Dude, I read his book for like a first novelist, and you know, like it's actually amazing. It's actually a great book.
I would imagine it would be because
he's a very smart dude.
He is, and he's not only really smart, but he fucking he's very, you know, he speaks very eloquently. Yeah, you know, he's you
could just sit there and listen to him talk.
Like we talked for a fucking good couple hours when, or at least no, that's bullshit. About an hour, maybe, about just like addiction and PTSD and all kinds of shit. Ironically, he was playing a shrink in the fucking movie, so it was like he was like kind of giving me therapy, and this is when I first started like coming to terms with the whole post-traumatic stress shit, and yeah, and he's like, really? You've never seen a therapist before, ever? I'm like, not since I was like a problem kid in like, 5th grade,
Right.
But
what was the film and what?
It's about a combat veteran who comes back to his old neighborhood, and he's got PTSD, ironically, and he winds up fighting in like underground fight clubs, and he basically he goes back to his old neighborhood, which is like everybody's a fuck up, and he's back in his old environment, and now he's also fucked up from the war. So like, it's him trying to readjust to reality, to society, to life, and it was a great part for me because I was running the fight club, right, and I used to fight in underground fight clubs, so I get it.
That was your character running the fight club?
Yeah, and I'm like a low level criminal, Irish fucking thug dude from the Bronx. It was a pretty easy role, for me, because all I had to do was just like draw on actual experience I had to get me,
cool.
pumped for the parts, for the scenes.
Right on. When did you film that?
I don't know, like less than a year ago.
Oh, less than a year ago.
Yeah. But we put it up on Vimeo for people to buy at first because of all the quarantine shit. Actually, that was partially because the quarantine show I did online was it did so well. It had like over 200,000 fucking views.
Fuck, man.
And with the band, right?
Yeah, we did a live show.
It was beautifully shot.
Yeah, it was well done. And that was all the people who shot the movie shot that for us.
I was like, they did such good quality in March when everyone was doing shitty cell phone stuff.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
I was like,
that's
I'm a video guy.
Yeah.
That's his thing. He complains all the time.
These motherfuckers did this in March.
Right.
Amazing.
Goddamn right, man.
In March.
And you know what? We pulled all that shit together.
Dude, it looks.
We pulled that shit together in 24 hours.
And where was it shot?
Well, I can't
like
say because they'll probably get in trouble. It's a place that people rehearse at, like big bands, like Bon Jovi and shit. Like big bands practice there. So it was like a big ass room.
Oh, I think.
And we were just
in
like
New Jersey by any chance? No, never mind.
So the show got canceled. We were supposed to play Webster Hall, and it was would have been my first time back in the club since that fucking night. So
I know exactly the dressing room. I know that one. Totally.
That couch is the one I was fucking laying on, kicking motherfuckers in the face.
Yeah.
So
you were supposed to be Webster Hall in September.
I know. Yeah. There you go.
Earlier,
Yeah. But that shit got canceled like less than 24 hours before it was supposed to happen, and I was like, "Fuck, man, what do we do?" Like we've been practicing all week. My guitarist is here from LA. My drummer's here from fucking Germany. What do we do? So I was like, you know what? Fucking let's set up all our gear, put up our backdrop, and do a show.
Shit.
That's great.
Yeah.
Are you doing any more of those?
No,
I was gonna pitch
that was what I said.
them.
Like that. That's why I was saying I would have done something like that.
I have a full 8-camera setup in a club in the city, and it would be perfect for you guys.
Well, maybe we should do something like that sometime.
$0 to come do it.
Bowery Electric. They have it at Bowery Electric.
Bro,
right
I'd love to do some shit like that, man.
It would be perfect for you guys.
I'd love to. That'd be great. God damn, man. We've been talking so much. I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about. What are we talking about?
Where are we?
I had a question that I was going to ask earlier. You said when you were with the Stimulators, you couldn't tour the UK. They wouldn't let you play. Like throughout your early years, did you ever show at a club and the promoter was like, "What the fuck is this?"
No, because my aunt was the guitarist, so we were able to say she's my legal guardian, even though she wasn't actually my legal guardian. But it's like,
and even with the Cro-Mags when you were still young, 15, 16.
But at that point, I was a fucking known dude. Like I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. I mean, shit. Back in the Stimulators days, I could show up at any fucking club in New York with like 12 friends. Usually it was like the Beastie Boys and the Luscious Jackson Girls and whatever other group
But that's
of friends
in New
of mine.
York.
Yeah, but I fucking, my shit, man. Motherfuckers know about me, man. My shit gets around.
Well, and that's the other question I was gonna ask. So we've had a couple of hardcore people, and I have friends who are big hardcore people, and like the ground zero for everyone was you and the Stimulators.
Goddamn right. I mean, you know what? I can't even argue it. Like, you know.
No. So my question is when did you realize that you had that much of an impact? You know, when did it? Back when you were 15, I'm sure you were just in the scene and didn't know, but like
it's weird because I knew I had that kind of juice when I was a kid.
It's more than juice; it's impact.
Well, I didn't know I had impact until years later, until I realized that half the hardcore bands in New York started because they were like, "Wow, he's 12 and he's in a band. I can do it too."
I keep hearing that story.
You know, I mean, my boy Steve Zing from Danzig. You know, he's engineering with the record I'm working on right now, and he was telling me. You know, his mother would drive him to Max's to come see me play, and you know, when he was like, I was 12, so he had to be 15. You know, so I mean, a lot of the people who started bands, you know, they were inspired by the fact that if this kid can do it, and
the story is they saw you play and then they went and started a band.
Yeah, you know, and quite honestly, you know. Nobody from the fucking hardcore scene, with the exception of like a couple people, were even around back then. You know, they're the few people that that used to come to those shows, like the drummer from Cause for Alarm. You know, he really a handful of people. I don't even honestly remember Vinny from back then. Vinny Stigma.
From
like I don't really remember him till like 1980. Right. You know, I mean. The adults I was around at the time were, you know, the New York Dolls and fucking, you know,
I saw a photo of you with Blondie, with Debbie Harry.
This book is amazing, dude. These photos are like really, really good, dude.
Yeah, it's just some wild shit in there, man.
I love this tattoo too. This one you got.
Yeah, I got that shit when I was fucking 15. Man.
But it's really.
With your legal guardian, they're saying it's okay.
No, I got it in Canada. This was when I was in Canada.
Weird Canadians.
Yeah, I actually got that tattoo like a few days after.
Damn.
I got that tattoo like a week after I got the shit beat out of me.
Put that picture up when you talk about that. Yeah.
And,
the week after?
Yeah, and I actually remember bumping into those guys on the street a few days after I got the tattoo, and I was like really nervous because I didn't want to get attacked again and get the tattoo fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, and then they were all like, "Oh man, you're not still mad about that, are you?" You know, because these guys were they were twisted, bro.
Right.
They used to like move people into their apartment to help pay rent, and then like they'd inevitably wind up kicking the shit out of them, throwing them out, and keeping all their shit. And I saw them do this like 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And then it wound up happening to me, you know.
Yeah. Do you ever think about things like power of manifestation and all that kind of stuff, like positive visualization?
Well, I don't do much of that. I mean, I do that just, you know, writing music. I do it every day,
right.
You know.
I was just thinking too, because of the album, the Cro-Mags are most known for, The Age of Quarrel.
It's actually becoming less so, man. The new record has actually made the charts, bro.
Oh, really?
In the beginning?
In the beginning, made the fucking charts less than fucking... And it came out the same day as fucking Lamb of God, and they didn't even chart.
Right.
And
congratulations.
And bro, this fucking record has sold on downloads. It's only been out of fucking less than a month. It's been... Age of Quarrel has been available for fucking years, and it's got like 1 million or something downloads. This thing has 500,000, and it's only been out for a motherfucking week or 3 or whatever. I mean, so if that's any sign, then yeah, Age of Quarrel's the fucking past, man.
Well, let's talk about this real quick before we wrap it up, because we've had you here for probably
2 hours.
Couple hours. So thanks for doing this.
Oh man, it's all good. You know, my hangover's gone.
Oh, that's good.
There you go.
And you didn't even smoke the CBD thing.
A little sweatbox will do that to you.
So did you produce this, or who produced it?
Arthur Rizek and me produced it. Arthur Rizek did like Power Trip. He's done a bunch of recent metal bands. He's a really fucking great producer, and really, really nice to work with. He, like, you know, whenever I had any, you know, second guessing myself, it's nice to have somebody with a good ear that you can discuss your thoughts with.
Yeah.
You know, the lyrics are also, I like them on this record.
You wrote them?
Yeah.
You wrote all the songs?
music, I wrote the lyrics. And
Right.
You know, that's
who are your lyrical inspirations, or
I don't have any.
What do you like about these lyrics?
I just I put a lot of thought into them. You know, I really meant it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very personal. You know.
And how is it putting out an album and not being able to tour and support it?
A little weird, but you know, like I said, man, I'm spending all my time with the person that I'd like to be around the most. So what the fuck am I missing out on? You know.
So that live stream you did was the only real promotion for it?
Yeah.
I love this one. No one's victim. You can't let your circumstances define who you are, because only death is certain, everything else optional. Your happiness depends on no one else but you, because no one else can live your life or fill your grave but you. No one's victim. No one's victim won't be a victim. That's great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's really good.
So I say, you know, like I write about, you know, finding strength somehow.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's something you gotta, you know, I find it inside. I don't look for it in God. I don't look for it in other people.
What's the difference between finding it inside and finding it in God?
I couldn't tell you because I don't know what the fuck God is.
Isn't God inside?
Well, that's what people say.
I mean, then we're talking about semantics.
Now we're talking, you know, theory.
Yeah.
You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we're just fucking bags of shit that expire.
I hope not.
Hey, you know, it is what it is.
I think we're spirit bubbles that pop.
Spirit bubbles that pop. There you go.
Yeah.
Potato.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Whatever. Shitbag, popping bubble, you know.
Ho'oponopono. Oops, I brought it up again.
You did it again, you motherfucker. God damn you.
This guy.
He's going to get me. I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night thinking that shit. What the fuck?
Dude, I'm
going
to
send
you a YouTube clip. You're gonna get.
There's 8 hours.
This motherfucker's trying to get me wrapped up in some Hawaiian cult.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this whole thing's been about.
Christ, this fucking, as long as it's not est, didn't that turn into?
Right.
And let's just plug the book one more time.
Yeah, hardcore life of my own. This is a great cover photo, dude. Man. That's awesome.
You know what was really an adventure was fucking trying to track down who took all these pictures.
Oh, man.
Because, like, bro, like, literally, like,
bro.
The photos are incredible.
Bro, it was fucking nuts. Like, some of these photographers, like, the pictures of me as a kid in Denmark in the punk band.
Yeah, in the beginning.
That photographer hadn't taken a picture since the 70s, and he's, like, in his 70s. And I tracked this motherfucker down. I don't even know him, and I tracked him down in Denmark. You know, I tracked out one photographer because the back of a photo I had said JJ on the back, and I took a picture of it.
Sherlock Holmes.
I took a picture of the signature and of the photo, and I posted them, and it said, does anybody know who took this? And somebody wrote me back and said it looks like some of the photos that JJ Gonson took. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So, like, it was really like, bro, it was some Sherlock Holmes motherfucking shit on that, man.
Yeah, these are great.
What's interesting
I'm glad you did that because, I mean, I got to read this, but the photos in and of themselves, this is like really...
Yeah, it's worth it for the photos. I mean,
it's
even,
really
even
worth,
if you don't
honest,
read, you know?
No bullshit. It is worth it for the photos. Just looking through these photos.
Yeah, there's some crazy shit in there.
And the intro by Anthony for that.
Bourdain.
And the funny thing why I asked if he encouraged you, this is kind of full circle. A friend of ours, Mark Flanagan, was on the podcast, and he was writing a memoir, and he was very close with Anthony as well. And he sent them the draft, and Anthony read it, and he pushed him and encouraged him.
That's what he did for me, man.
Deeper and deeper. And without him, he wouldn't have written his memoir. Dude. Yeah, that was the one story that Mark told.
My shit wouldn't have wound up.
And he didn't want to say it was Anthony first. They had to like poke a little, and he said,
"Oh man, I got no problem
Anthony.
Props to him, man. I love the man.
Yeah, he was very.
I love the man.
Hey, did you get Anthony into jiu-jitsu? Because he got
man. I was just I actually used to teach his daughter.
Oh, okay, and that's how he got into it because he got way into it, right?
Well, his ex, she was really into it, and first time I met him was at an MMA thing, and I didn't even know who the fuck he was because I didn't have cable TV. She's like, "Oh, this is my husband," and I'm like, "Oh." I just remember looking up and saying, like, "God damn, this motherfucker got a big head." Like, this motherfucker's head is like the size of a microwave. For fuck's sake, he's a big dude. You know, like shit. Yeah, and then and then my wife was my girlfriend at the time was like, "That's Anthony Bourdain." I'm like, "Who?" She's like, he's fucking famous. Why? I'm like, I have no fucking clue. He just got a big head, you know. But he's a fucking really, really cool dude. I mean, is, you know, it's
big music fan too.
Is because you probably feel his spirit still, right?
Man, bro, I fucking think about that motherfucker so much, and like, you know, after he fucking died, like, I just woke up out of a fucking horrible nightmare one night of him just crying, and I was just like, fuck, man, he's not at peace, man.
Oh man.
You know,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, hopefully he's at peace now, you know.
Let's hope so. Hey, but I want to end on this note too, because one thing I got way into when I went through my dark night of the soul stuff was, one of the times was.
I hear you. One of the times.
Yeah, I don't want to be like ego, like, oh, that's all done behind.
What's that Depeche Mode line? Never again is never again is what you swore the time before.
Right. But
yes, I just quoted Depeche Mode, motherfuckers. Fuck
hey,
all
man, I like the mode. But I got into
the mode,
the commode.
He's going right in there. The mode.
Damn.
No, but I got into boxing. But then I ended up going and taking like 3 jiu-jitsu classes. But then I haven't gone back to it.
Bro, when we open up, man, you're my guest, bro. Anytime.
That's
man.
what I'm getting after.
Absolutely,
I want to start training.
Yeah,
I have a gi. Now I paint, and so it's all full of paint now. But but it's dry paint.
So what?
So I'm ready.
Come on in. Come on down.
All right, dude. Thank you
man.
so much.
Thank you, Harley.
It'll be a pleasure, man. I look forward to seeing you guys there and wherever else we may.
And if we train, I promise
paths.
I won't bring up Ho'oponopono.
No, you'll be saying that shit when I'm choking the shit out of you. You'll be like,
I won't tap until you say Ho'oponopono. All right, thanks, Harley. Take it easy, y'all.
Yo,
much
fun,
love,
man.
much love. Thank you.
Man.
God bless.
Right on.
All right. Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated.